This is Eyewitness News with Gil Noble, Tracy Egan, Jerry Azar, Linda Gialanella, and the Eyewitness News team.
Good evening. Here's what's happening. 11 people are under arrest tonight after barricading themselves on board the USS Intrepid. Their purpose, to protest American military activity in Nicaragua and El Salvador. Will Spence tells us that the protesters tried to make their point by spraying graffiti and smashing windows that had survived a world war.
At mid-afternoon, a sit-in demonstration aboard the USS Intrepid. Fewer than a dozen demonstrators demanding that the U.S. free Puerto Rico and get out of Central America gained access to the island portion of the aircraft carrier and then got inside the bridge, leaving behind graffiti on the bridge windows. The demonstrators had locked themselves inside the bridge, an area not unlike this, one level above where we are standing now. Police have that area cordoned off. Once inside the bridge, the demonstrators chained themselves to the bridge and then broke windows on the seaward side of the aircraft carrier, yelling out the window political slogans. The demonstrators carried on inside the bridge for about an hour. At that time, the emergency service squad from the NYPD showed up.
Once the officers climbed in through the porthole windows, there was no problem, gave themselves up peacefully.
As police led the arrested demonstrators out into the street, there were confrontations with angry tourists, people upset that this demonstration had gone on at all.
Go back to Puerto Rico! Go to Puerto Rico! Go back to Nicaragua!
I brought my kids here to come and go on the boat, and I think it's really ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. They could protest in other ways without disrupting the public, you know, and ruining the day.
One level above, police continue to survey the crime scene. It is expected that in a short time, the graffiti will be repainted over. The demonstrators to be charged with criminal trespass. Police all in all calling this a minor incident. Will Spence, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
Damage to the Intrepid today, only slight, but an historic racetrack in New Jersey that was falling onto hard times is now out of business because of a devastating fire. McGee Hickey tells us it will be a long time before the Trotters race again in Freehold.
This is all that's left of the 131-year-old landmark, what had been the oldest continually operated pari-mutuel track in the country. Within less than 1 hour, the grandstand here at the Freehold Raceway was reduced to just this, a pile of rubble. As the track president put it, you could see your entire lifetime go up in front of you. The fire spread so quickly that more than 100 firefighters couldn't stop the flames from destroying the grandstand, the clubhouse, and the concession stand. Police now say a malfunction of electrical wiring behind a tote board may have sparked the fire. Officials clearing the rubble today said arson has been ruled out.
I feel there's a lot of history and a lot of hard sweat, tears, everything in it. The dining room on the far end there, we just renovated last year. $350,000. The grandstand, see it for yourself.
None of the track's trotters and paces were injured. Their stable is a half-mile away from the grandstand. Today, as the horses worked out, track officials tried to work out a deal to rebuild. The cost, at least $10 million.
It's a good business. We've had some tough times, but we had some plans that we were just working on right now, which would have put us in a better capacity.
When you get 2,500 to 3,500 people coming into a town every day, 6 days a week, it has an impact on the restaurants, the hotels, and just everything.
The track employed 300 people. Another 400 worked in the stables.
I just turned 70 in February, and actually now it's going to be hard for me to pick up another job at my age.
What are you going to do now?
Well, I guess a lot of people are going to go to unemployment Monday. And otherwise, I'll look for another job.
On Monday, track officials plan to meet with county and state officials to see if they can get a loan from the State Economic Development Authority to help pay for the rebuilding. And horse owners will also be meeting to see where their trotters can race until Freehold Raceway is rebuilt. Tracy?
Thanks, McGee. In Manhattan, 2 little girls are recovering from knife wounds. They were stabbed as they returned from the grocery store today. Police say the sisters, who were only 6 and 9 years old, were about to enter their grandmother's Harlem apartment building when a man rushed out, attacked them, and then ran away. The 9-year-old's wounds are serious, and she's in stable condition tonight at St. Luke's Hospital. And young victims in deadly violence at a high school dance in Brooklyn. Police say 2 young men, one 17, the other 20, are dead. They were shot as they were leaving the dance, sponsored by a Chinese-American high school group. Police say more than one gunman might be responsible, but they don't know yet if this shooting was gang-related. 2 handguns were found at the scene.
Rome was the scene of bomb blasts today. No one was hurt when 2 bombs went off in a street near the Vatican. But the bombs damaged a warehouse, wrecked 3 cars, and shattered windows in an apartment building. Police think that the bombs may be the work of racketeers. Today's bombings followed 2 in Rome yesterday. More violence in Seoul, South Korea. For the 3rd day of Pope John Paul's visit, riot police clashed with students protesting alleged government human rights abuses. Today in South Korea's largest port, Busan, the Pope addressed about 300,000 people. He said workers in developing countries should receive just wages.
When Eyewitness News continues, we're going to hear from a Marine who faces a court-martial for refusing to serve in Lebanon and Grenada, and a very special day for the family of a Long Island Marine.
Another round of primaries in 2 states today, and we'll update you on the voting. And we'll tell you about a demonstration here in New York that took on a festive atmosphere.
The political eyes of the nation are on Texas and Louisiana tonight. Voters are gathering for the Texas caucuses. Walter Mondale is favored to win the bulk of the 169 delegates. The caucus procedure is very complicated, so we may not know the results until tomorrow. A much simpler primary, though, is being held for Louisiana's 57 delegates. Voter turnout there is low, and that's expected to help Jesse Jackson, who's trying for his 2nd primary win. Elected officials and other opponents of the nuclear arms race took to the streets here in New York. They staged walk-a-thons to support a nuclear arms freeze. Marches were held in Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, Long Island, and Westchester.
A U.S. Marine who refused to serve in Lebanon and Grenada faces a court-martial tonight. Corporal Alfred Griffin is a black Muslim. He went AWOL when his unit was shipped to Beirut. Today he told me that he refused to shoot at other Muslims in Lebanon or blacks in Grenada.
I didn't enlist in the Marine Corps with the idea that I was going to be going to serve in a combatant role, to kill.
What would you say to those who say, how can you expect to run an army or a military with people who take a stand like you?
I don't think that every enlistee that enlists in the Marine Corps is told, well, we're enlisting you in the sole purpose, so if something happens, we're going to send you over here, to kill.
Corporal Griffin, a former presidential honor guard, says that he is being court-martialed because of his religion, not because he refused to fight.
Gil, a Marine who did brave the bullets in Lebanon and Grenada is finally home with his family on Long Island tonight. Rosanna Scotto was at the airport for a joyous family reunion.
Coming home from a war zone is a traumatic experience, and finally today, 20-year-old Matt Merrigan gets to see his family. Matt is a Marine who was shipped to Grenada and then to Beirut, Lebanon. After 7 long months, today he arrived at LaGuardia Airport to open arms.
We thought he missed the flight. He didn't get off till the last one, but it's fine. It's good to see him. It's good to have him home.
He happened to be in a bunker for the whole 6 months with shelling going on and all like that, constantly back and forth. So he's a little bit uptight.
Yeah.
But I know he's glad to be home.
I'm just embarrassed, that's all.
Because of the situation in Lebanon?
Because of this situation.
The situation Matt was talking about was the crowds and camera at the airport. And like many servicemen returning home, he was reluctant to talk about the last few months. But a tape recording he made while stationed in Beirut said it all.
We're waiting to be pulled out now. We should be out by the end of the month, but we'll see what happens. These booms and bangs is Lebanese and the Jews, I suppose.
Having one son in a dangerous situation is frightening enough for any family. But the Merrigans had 2. Their older son, Pat, was also on the same ship to Grenada and Beirut with his brother.
We didn't much like the idea of it, and we thought I kiddingly said I was going to write to some congressman and get one of them home, but they preferred to be together, and it turned out best that they were, because they got to see each other on Christmas.
If you had to do the whole thing over again, would you?
If I had to, I would, yeah.
But you wouldn't want to?
Yours is not the question why. Yours is just to do or die. That's what they say.
Matt's older brother, Pat, is also back from Beirut and now spending some time with his wife and child in North Carolina. But in 3 weeks, he will join his parents and other family members in Long Island
to celebrate their homecoming. Gil.
Thanks. Still ahead on Eyewitness News, Jerry Azar and sports. He'll have the highlights and interviews of the Nets as they continue their playoff drive.
And if you missed the Run for the Roses or want to see it again, Jerry's going to have a replay.
It's sports time, and Jerry Azar is here with the good word.
You like exciting basketball? They had some at the Meadowlands. The New Jersey Nets have even their playoff series with the Milwaukee Bucks. In the process, won their first playoff game ever at the Meadowlands. But how they did it, that's the story. Trailing 2-1 in this best-of-7, the Nets had to have this one. First half, it was close, but in the closing minutes, the Bucks 1-2 punch go to work. There's one of them, Sidney Moncrief, Bucks by 3. Milwaukee converted 3 straight three-point plays. Watch Marcus Johnson make the move, shoots, scores, fouled. Bucks up by 10 at the break. Second half looked like a blowout. Nets were down by 16, but they make a run. Michael Ray Richardson leads the charge. Sugar to the hoop, up and in. Richardson had 24 points before an ankle injury forced him to leave. The Nets continue their comeback. Mike Gialanella, a life and game saver. This bucket by Mike off the offensive rebound puts the Nets up by 1. And they went back and forth, exchanging the lead. It is Gialanella again on Mokeski. Says, let me take the jumper. 20 points and 9 rebounds for Mike. Now, the Nets have been miserable from the foul line, but look how their fans distracted Junior Bridgman. He missed them both. Nets winner, 106-99. The series tied at 2 games. Game 5 Tuesday in Milwaukee. After the game, Paul Guanzon with Mike Gialanella.
Truly the unsung hero for the Nets, scoring the most points since his rookie year. How's it feel to finally win a playoff game at home?
You know, the fans have been tremendous here, all our playoff games, and it's really been disappointing to come out of here with a loss every night. Even though we did beat Philly, there was you know, still a feeling that, well, we would have liked to have done it at home. But they deserve this one tonight, and I'm glad everybody who didn't come to the game got a chance to see it on TV also.
Okay, Mike Gialanella, 20 points, even up the series now 2 games apiece. Paul Guanzon, Channel 7, Eyewitness Sports.
Amen. Okay, Paul, well, we got the Nets even. Maybe the Knicks can do the same tomorrow when they host the Boston Celtics. Game 4 of their Eastern Conference semifinal. Last night, the Knicks got team balance. So one of the keys, Bill Cartwright. Knicks went to Bill early. He took it to Robert Parrish. Number 25 in white with the jumper. Good. Bill had 25 points. Knicks on the fast break. Rory Sparrow will leave it for Bernard King for the wham jam. Bernard had 24. Give a lot of credit to Ray Williams. He penetrated, created, scored big buckets, 22 for Ray. After the game, I talked to Coach Hubie Brown.
I thought Ray had his best game of the year tonight, no doubt about it, because it was a pressure game. And he played big, and he made an awful lot of great shots with the shot clock down. And as long as he stayed away from his passing, you know, he was really playing monstrous tonight.
It's hard to beat the Celtics, who's such a great running club when you're trying to play catch-up. And tonight we established a tempo I think was more our tempo than theirs. And as a result, they chased us.
Okay, the Knicks won that game 100-92, still down 2-1. Got one thing to add to that post-game interview with Bernard King. Bernard said he had a dream that the Eastern Conference Final would be the Knicks against the Nets. I will go for that, but I think Boston and Milwaukee still have a lot to say about that. It was Derby Day at Churchill Downs, Louisville, Kentucky, with the 110th Run for the Roses. Down the stretch, the number 10 horse, Swale, has the lead all to himself. Lafitte Pinkai Jr. aboard, and the son of Seattle Slew will win the Kentucky Derby by 4 lengths. Coax Me Chad second at the threshold third. Winning time for Swale, 2 minutes, 2 2.25 seconds, 5-2 shot. Swale wins the Derby. Now, talk about hockey. How can I put this delicately? Tonight, the hockey season for the Montreal Canadiens is over. History, a memory, last rites, buzzer city, finito. Besides that, I think the Islanders are going to win. Tonight, the Isles are up 3-2. They can wrap it up at the Coliseum. Interviews and highlights tonight. Eyewitness News at 11:15. Now, for that, we go back to Tracy with more news.
Thanks, Jerry. When Eyewitness News continues, Linda Gialanella joins us. We're going to find out if this beautiful weekend weather is going to stay with us.
And a very big day at OTB. History was made. We'll find out how the bettors did when Eyewitness News continues.
It's a nice day outside. I hope you all got to go outside and enjoy a little bit of it. Linda?
And, well, for those of you who didn't get a chance to go out and enjoy it today, we're going to give you another chance tomorrow.
especially early in the day. You know what that means, no sleeping late tomorrow. So let's go take a look at a fine forecast, everyone. Good evening, one and all. Although if you were up early this morning, like I was, you may have noticed there was a little bit of cloudiness out there. But then, of course, the sun came up and just ordered those clouds out of the sky. Sun took over, brought us a beautiful day. In fact, it was a nice, strong sunshine we had out there. As for where we stand at this hour, we're at 67 degrees. That's after a high that made it to 69, 40% relative humidity. And our winds have died down a bit, and our pressure is on the rise. Looking outside, our satellite picture shows you here's where we are located, and there's a little bit of finger of cloudiness pointing right at us, so there is some cloudiness moving in, and we did have a shower reported north and west of the city in northwestern New Jersey in the last couple of hours, but we really don't see any problems out of this system. Can you see this swirling mass up to the north over Nova Scotia? That is what is left of yesterday's rainstorm. Now as it moves out to sea, it's bringing us the breezy conditions we had today. But here's what we have to thank for the beautiful day today, the high-pressure cell that supplied the sunshine, and it will do the same thing again tomorrow. But we're going to keep our eye on this storm to the south and also the warm front associated with it. It brought the clouds to the Kentucky Derby today, kept the rain out for a while, and we see it heading right in our direction. Satellite picture will show you the size of that storm, and as it does head in our direction, we expect to see the clouds out of it probably by late in the day tomorrow. We'll say Sunday evening, and then we see the rain moving in by Sunday night. I'd say from about 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. That's when we should start to see the heaviest rain. Then by Monday morning, it would be a good idea during the rush hour to have that umbrella with you. You'll probably need it then, but not before, not for tomorrow. In fact, for tomorrow, we'll say we will see the sun as temperatures climb up into the 60s and low 70s, and we're going to try to hang on to that sun as long as possible tomorrow until those clouds move in late in the day. Let's look at it all in our forecast. For tonight, we're going to say it'll be a bit on the cloudy side tonight, and it will feel cool as temperatures fall into the 50s. Tomorrow, sunshine early in the day, mixing with afternoon clouds, a high of 72 possible. Then by tomorrow night, as the clouds increase, the winds pick up, the rain will be developing late, and we'll see the rain into Monday, tapering off to showers. There may even be a break of sun by Monday afternoon. By Tuesday, we'll call it variably cloudy. Wednesday, the winds pick up and temperatures fall a bit. But for tomorrow, earliest part of the day will be the best part. Get out there and enjoy it. And back to you, Tracy.
Thanks, Linda. If you live in New York, perhaps you had a bit of extra special interest in the Derby today. It wasn't quite Churchill Downs, but your nearby OTB parlor offered legal betting on the Derby for the first time. Not all the OTB outlets had the race on TV, so a lot of racing fans headed for nearby bars where they sipped not mint juleps, but Boilermakers. While they seemed pretty calm watching the race, bettors told us they were happy about being able to put money down legally this year.
For a lot of people who cannot go to the track, I believe that's a good idea.
I think it's great. I really do. I'm pleased that they're letting us do it.
It's better than going to Kentucky. It costs too much. And I can get a mint julep here.
And if your horse doesn't win, you know your money goes not to a bookie but to the state government, if that's any consolation. Gil?
Well, the Bronx can boast of a new and distinguished institution of higher education. It's a school for baseball umpires. And Rosanna Scotto was there today to learn the ins and outs.
Oh, boy, they got him at third base. I don't believe
it. It takes a tough person to be a professional baseball umpire. That someone has to know more than the rules.
Don't try to act like God on the field. Be firm. Don't be a wimp.
Ball one.
Zach Rebikoff was a professional umpire for 8 years and is now the executive director of the New York School of Umpiring at Fordham University. Today he gave a free clinic to umpire hopefuls.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Although I'm not dressed for the part, you never know when baseball rules and regulations might come in handy.
Starting this July, 5 days a week for 5 weeks, participants learn the baseball rules as well as get on-the-job training.
You must attend an accredited umpire school to become a professional umpire. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
It's a lot of fun. Have a good time. And learning, too. You never know everything, you know. It's always a little bit you can pick up.
Do you want to be a professional umpire?
Jury's still out on that. I'm undecided.
The top students from the school will then go on to Florida to be evaluated and assigned to umpiring positions in the minor leagues. And it's safe to say if you go to the New York School of Umpiring, you'll be ahead of the game. In the Bronx, Rosanna Scotto, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Right now, we're out of time. I'm Tracy Egan. Thank you for joining us.
We'll be back at 11:15. Safe.